got this thing behind me I'm trying not to hit with a bow.
Hey, welcome to the Missouri Freedom Initiative. It is Thursday, the 7th of April, 2022. And let's see, before we even get started, gang, give us a 5 by 5. Let us know if you can hear us. And I'd like to say hello to Casey Rich, Liberty Revolutionary, also known as Caleb. We also have the Missouri Liberty Report with us tonight, which is awesome. We have Ganai, also known as Scott. Rebel Cries with us. Robert Smith is with us, and we also have Rusty Shackelford. We're getting a 5 by 5 from Sheraton Farmer. Awesome. Thank you very much. Okay, I was going to play guitar for you guys a little bit. We were jamming out earlier, on Discord with our instruments before we got started. You guys, I mean, seriously, we do get in the Discord about a half an hour before we even start on YouTube. In this case, it was about an hour. And so Rusty and I were in here. And but at any rate, we just kind of took out our musical instruments and just kind of jammed a little bit. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was playing my violin, but I don't play it often enough. Now the fingertips are raw.
Yep. I was doing the 12-string acoustic guitar. Let's see. KC was doing a 6-string acoustic, and then we had a Liberty Report with the bass. So we're missing. I could play harmonica, but I find that difficult to do when I'm playing the guitar. But yeah, I mean, all fun aside and everything,
you need one of those little.
Yeah, I know.
One of those. Put some harmonica.
Yeah, I'll have to talk to Bob Dylan and see if he can loan me one of his or something. Let's see what we can do. Okay, all right. So since we got a 5 by 5, we know people can hear us out in YouTube land. Maybe we should just go ahead and start. And what I'm going to do tonight, gang, is I'm going to start with letting you know where we're at with the bills that we've talked about, which have really essentially not moved anywhere. And Jonathan Ashley says, good evening, lovers of freedom and truth. Good evening to you, Jonathan. Thank you very much. So we have HB 1613, and that was basically civil asset forfeiture. Now, we've done some stuff with that, but we haven't heard back on it yet. I'm not sure if I want to say what we've done with it yet, but our very own Caleb, Liberty Revolutionary, has actually written up some interesting, let's just say, amendments to the bill to actually give it some value again, make it worth something again. And a copy of it has been sent to a representative. We have not heard back yet. And then also to Ron Calzone. But at any rate, we're going to hold off on saying what those were until we hear something back, because essentially our position in our group is if they don't make that bill meaningful, we need to kill it. There's no reason to pass a feel-good bill in the state of Missouri. We're all over 18 years old. We don't need those. Okay, moving right along. Before we get to our general discussion, next bill is 2009. And that is on the informal perfection calendar, but I believe, yeah, it might have been the last time we looked at it too. That has not moved, but it's my understanding that that's getting really close to moving. So, and we'll talk about, the actionable items here in just a bit, gang. I'm just going to finish up with the bills. And then we have 1992, that's getting the sales tax off of food in the grocery store. That one is also on the informal perfection calendar. What that basically means is it can come up at any time for debate and perfection on the House floor. Same thing with the others. 2118, which is basically our Stand Your Ground enhancement, is also on the informal perfection calendar. And 2704, and this is about legalizing marijuana in the state of Missouri. That one has not even made it to the calendar, and even the informal calendar at this time, according to the Missouri House of Representatives website. All of these need our attention, every single one of these bills, and I will link these all down below in the description section before we're done with the video. We still need to keep calling on these, gang, on every single one of these. Okay, now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the Senate, and then we'll go to general discussion. So in the Senate, we do have a lot of bills that basically are dealing with let's just say ballot initiatives, and we have a potential solution. We have contacted a senator, and we're waiting to hear back from that senator to see if we can resolve problems, and make this, a meaningful bill that does what the Senate wants it to do, but also not take away our rights. So we're not going to talk anything more about that at this time until we hear back from the senator, and we will be hearing back from the senator. So that's where that's at. So, and by the way, if you guys ever see a bill that you don't like or you think needs amending, you guys can, propose changes. Representatives and senators generally are welcoming of that. And so that's exactly what we did. So, okay. All right. I thought, okay, and I'll get actionable items up here in the description section for just a little bit. But we'll go ahead and open it up for general discussion. Also, Robert's joined us tonight, so welcome to Robert.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You bet. Always nice to have you, man. Okay, so go ahead.
Showing up because you guys are really informative on what's going on. You guys really do your research, and so hanging out with you guys will definitely keep you up to date on what needs to be paid attention to, because it's always the things not in the news that's the important ones.
Yep. I wish we had some more information. This week has been, unfortunately, a lot of it's been going back to redistricting and budget. So other things are not really moving very fast. They are covering some things, but not any of the bills that we're particularly paying attention to right now. And I wish we could. I mean, and Latanya with us. Hey there, Latanya. And Rhino is with us as well. I wish we could watch all these bills for you guys and let you know every single one of them, but there's 1,700 of them this year, gang. Actually, over 1,700 bills in the Missouri legislature. It's a huge docket this year. Something we've never seen before. Not at this number, anyway. The important thing is we just don't sit by. We continue doing emails. We continue making phone calls. We continue with this process. And so I'd also, by the way, Voodoo Queen is not with us tonight. She's recently had surgery, and I haven't talked to her since her surgery. I really don't have a way to talk to her unless, she comes into our group here. But I'd like to ask for those of you who care to, please say a prayer for our good friend Voodoo Queen, who is also a mod for us on YouTube.
Yeah, definitely.
So, okay, so that's where we're at, gang. This has been one of those, and this happens every year in Jefferson City when they're working on budget. Nothing happens. They just work on budget mainly. And they've been working on budget items this week, which they're constitutionally obligated to do so. So they do have to get that done. Interestingly enough, I'm going to throw something out there, not to be divisive or to start debate, but the arguments and let's just say the debate that's happening with redistricting is not required constitutionally. They don't have to do this. They don't have to spend this much time on this, and they are. And that's just because the divisive nature of politics, right versus left, Democrat versus Republican, that sort of thing. So this week, unfortunately, has not yielded anything. But then again, we still have tomorrow. What we'd like to do, though, is remind you guys that all these bills that we're talking about are still up, with the exception of one, are pretty much still up on the perfection calendar, the informal perfection calendar. So they could come up at any time. We still need to keep calling on these bills that we care about. And let's see, have we gotten any closer to an email platform for mailing email to our reps? No, Latanya, actually, that's an update for me. My web guy and I will be meeting next week. So I set up that meeting. Oh, Voodoo's with us. Hey there. Hey, Voodoo. I just had everyone say a prayer for you. How'd your surgery go? She had eye surgery, gang. So
Yeah.
That's wonderful. You're back with us. So at any rate, yeah, we still need to keep calling on these things, gang, and keep emailing on these things. And I do have preferences over what's more important to me. But the fight, like for instance, 2009, which is the one to prevent small people from getting, stuff put in their arm in government indoctrination centers. That one's near and dear to me. I like that bill. We need to protect our kids. It should be parents' choice. It always should be parents' choice. And so at any rate, okay, all right, general discussion now, gang, because unfortunately we have nothing from Jefferson City truly this week, except for the phone calls that I had with the senator, and we already kind of discussed that, but we don't want to go further into detail. The senator is going to be looking over what information we gave him, and then basically giving us a call back, and then we'll see where we can go from there. And that's, once again, is having to do with the ballot initiatives that are in the Senate. So we're working lots of different angles. Oh, announcements. I should get these at the beginning of the program. Announcements. Web guy, I thought I was meeting with him this week. It turns out it's next week. So we'll be having some changes made to the website next week. Also, very important, April 26th is Gun Rally Day up in Jeff City. That's every year. Every year we have that in Jefferson City, and it's kind of a celebration of how Missouri has, the best gun freedoms in the entire 50 United States of America. So we'll be going there. Well, at least I will be going there. Now, those of you who have gone in the past and were, wanting to talk or see, with other people and everything, I generally don't attend the rallies. I'm there, but I'm knocking on doors. I'm going and talking to representatives and senators because they're all there that day. So, but at any rate, for you guys to put it on your calendar, April 26th, that's a great day. If you want to participate in the rally, that's awesome. It's a big rally. It's usually between 300 and 500 folks that show up for that rally. It's a pretty good one. And, but for those of you who want to knock on doors and talk to representatives and senators, please consider doing so. Also, one more announcement. On May 26th, Caleb?
May 26th and 27th.
Okay, May 26th and May 27th, Travis, our good friend Travis, with the Prepared Homestead, has his expo. So if you want to mark that down on your calendars as going to that is a Thursday and a Friday, if I remember correctly. Okay. So if you guys want to go there, we will be there as well. We will have a presence there, the Missouri Freedom Initiative. So we'll have tables there. We'll have merchandise to sell. And in fact, I was going to ask you guys, since we're on YouTube, what kind of stuff you guys like to buy? T-shirts, coffee cups, that sort of thing. I mean, so you guys throw out in the chat here, basically if there was anything you'd like to see us merchandise. And this will help pay for certain things that we need within the organization. So, and we'll also have a raffle, but I'm not going to talk about that just yet. So we'll also be speaking there. So, but at any rate, okay, so announcements out of the way. Just remember April 26th and May 26th and 27th. So April 26th is Jefferson City, and then May 26th and 27th is in Texas County, Missouri. That's where Travis holds his meetings. Decals for the gun safe. Okay, gotcha. Actually, I've got that written down already.
Yeah, decals are always a big one.
Latanya King says joints.
Joints.
It's a 420 rally.
I mean, I guess we could get our hands with some of that Delta 8 stuff.
Yeah.
Sell it.
Okay. All right. Pardon me. John. I'm sorry, Liberty Report. Do you have anything? Have you been in contact with anyone at Jeff City so far this week?
I don't have anything. The only thing I've seen is Christina Thompson is updating, and for whatever reason, the House Bill 2704, they're pushing this. What is it? Let me get the verbiage right. Legal Missouri 22. That's the one they're pushing, which doesn't do very well with expungement. Still requires licenses from DHSS to grow plants and things of that nature, but that's set up by the medical marijuana monopoly, the big boys in the game. They're really pushing against HB 2704, and so all I would say is I'm going to start. I guess what we need to ask these guys is are you more likely to listen to the people with money, or aren't you supposed to be listening to us instead of the guys with the big bucks? Because it seems like right now you're only interested in what the guys with the loaded pockets have to say on legalizing marijuana. But yeah, they're trying to demoralize, especially the Show Me Canada group or the Show Me Canada Freedom group. And she said that's not going to happen. But that's the only update I have right now is this legal Mo 22. They're
Okay.
pushing hard for it. But that's the best thing about really one of the best things about the Cannabis Freedom Act is if that would go through, you'd no longer have to have, get the license, hang it on your door for your plants. The DHSS would know nothing about how many plants you have, anything of that nature. That's one of the other really great things about the bill. So they're still pushing hard, and they're still making phone calls, and she's on I think she's on a 2-week trip, which she said is driving her nuts because she can't keep getting up there to Jeff City and knocking on doors. But I know a lot of the other folks are still beating on state reps to get that bill pushed through onto the floor and get it over to the Senate.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what we do, gang. I mean, that's what you have to do. The trips to Jeff City, I know they're expensive. They're hard to do. Plus, also, it's always a weekday, so most people are working. So you have to take a day off from work. Plus, there's gas money to drive there because not everyone's conveniently located close to Jefferson City. But believe me, your representatives and senators know this. They know that you're taking time off work. They know that you're spending gas money to go up there and talk to them. So they do appreciate when you do that. And right now, I don't see a need for an immediate trip there right now. So we're just planning on April 26th, the gun rally day. And like I said, I already told you guys what I do when I'm at Jeff City. I don't participate in the rallies. I'm sorry about that. But that's an excellent time to be talking to senators and representatives because they're all there that day, all of them. So as long as they're not participating in the rally, you can actually get some one-on-one time with these guys. Warrior Class says, where in the Constitution is the government given the right to regulate medicinal plants? They don't.
Nowhere. The
It's not
answer
there.
is nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
They recognized before they needed to amend the Constitution
Mm-hmm.
to ban liquor, which means by default they are not allowed to do that without amending the Constitution.
Yep.
Because
Yeah,
regardless of what Bill of Rights or not regarding your property, that's still not delegated power to them at all to control or restrict anything you do on your own property.
And there you
Where
have
in the
it.
Constitution does it give them the right to take any of our guns, but they do it.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. One of the other things on HB 2704, especially when it comes to the no federal agency, employee, or unauthorized third party has the right to know or will have access to your medical marijuana license information. I think another important point that people need to, or important thing that people need to kind of point out to these reps is, according to the feds, if you have a medical marijuana card, then you're not supposed to own firearms. And again, that's one of the great things about this bill. And so I think the question needs to be asked. So, do you think because someone has a chronic pain issue or a debilitating illness, and they're using something naturally occurring that helps their pain and gives them actually makes them hungry so they can stomach food, you don't think those people have the right to defend themselves? I mean, it's stupid enough that you put people in jail over a plant, but I think we need to bring up every single facet of this bill, especially Second Amendment wise, when we just got, SEPA's now here. Things like that need to be brought to people's attention, not just the reps, but other people who are pushing this. They need to know these are some of the issues. To me, these are some of the other topics on this bill that need to be brought up to get people to understand, hey, it's not just about weed. There are other important, features to this bill. Maybe that'll help. I don't know. Maybe it won't. But, there's so many key features to this bill. I think we need to figure out any way we can of pushing the point home that, hey, people that want to partake in the devil's lettuce, should be able to defend their homes just because they, might have a little euphoric high because their pain levels through the roof doesn't mean they, you can just kick their door in and take their crap if you're a, criminal. So things like that
Yep.
irritate me
Yes,
to no
yes,
end.
yes, yes. Government is criminal,
Yes,
and
you're
they
right.
kick in doors all the time.
Mhm.
The mafia has more honor than the government does.
Literally, I know fucking mob families. They literally have more honor than the government.
Yep.
Show Me the Truth 1611 said, where's the info for the gun rally posted at? I just brought it up and I just put it into the YouTube chat so you guys have access to that. Latanya says something really interesting here. It helped with my stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Holy mackerel, Latanya, you had stage 4 pancreatic cancer? Wow. But holy mackerel, that's powerful. If it was helping you with your cancer, stage 4 pancreatic, that's a powerful testimony.
Well, I know a guy that who had a 12-inch mass on his large intestine, and weirdly enough, he'd smoked weed all of his life, and it never went beyond that 12-inch mass. It never spread beyond that, or 12-centimeter mass.
Well, okay, as opposed to the medicinal side of things, I'm going to talk about the legal side of things. Most of you know I'm an IT guy, and most of my clientele is government, and I'm self-employed. And I will tell you, the resources that have gone into, basically the drug war, where marijuana is concerned, are pretty badly spent. It's not working. And I do know that in most places in Missouri, most law enforcement don't really do anything unless you're, traveling down the freeway in a van with an enormous amount of weed. That's about the only thing I hear of anymore in law enforcement here in the state of Missouri, and that's about it.
Yeah, I just talked to a police officer here in Owensville. It was Sunday. He was passing by. Every time he passes by and I'm outside, we chat for like an hour. And I just asked him, I said, what do you think? And he goes, man, I don't want to. He said, why in the heck should I throw anybody in jail or even arrest them for weed? He goes, it's stupid. He told me, he said, honestly, if I could eat, a piece of a brownie to help me sleep at night, he goes, absolutely, I freaking would. I would in a heartbeat. He said, I can't. But if I would, I could. He said, there's no reason why anybody shouldn't be able to do it. So, I mean, there's a group called LEAP, Law Enforcement Against Prohibition. They've been going across the country for years talking to police departments and government agencies saying, you're wasting a lot of money putting people in jail for drugs. That money could be spent on actual violent crime where you're throwing billions of dollars at, a lot of times at weed or something else where there's no victim. So,
Well, maybe if they were smoking a little bit too, they wouldn't be kicking in so many doors.
well, I think that's why they all stand around those big fires when they burn a big crop. You notice as soon as they're done burning it, they're all in a restaurant eating, and they're all kind of laughing and carrying on. It's like, you guys stood pretty close to the flames today, didn't you? Pretty close to that smoke. A little contact high.
And
When
actually,
it comes down to
Kind of wasting it like that. They can stretch it out a lot further if they just
No,
set it
no,
all
no.
on
They
fire.
take all the bud, put it in a foil cone, and then put it on the intake of a leaf blower.
I was gonna say I got a buddy of mine.
Oh man,
and
that'd be
he-
funny.
He makes Rick Simpson's
Seen that
oil.
done before.
I got a buddy of mine that makes Rick Simpson's oil, and he has to teach people how to make it. People that have cancer, people that have epilepsy. It helps people stop seizures and all that. And instead of him being able to just go and sell it to him, he's like, no, I can't do that because it'd be breaking the law. So he has to go around and teach people how to make this Rick Simpson's oil, and it's a hell of a process. Anybody has a medical card. And yeah, it's bullcrap that he has to go through all that when it could really just be simplified by being able to sell it.
Government complicates everything.
Hey, Caleb, Rhino76 put in here. Does anyone know if the 80% and braces will actually make it to being banned coming up? Or is there something behind the scenes in play that will keep it in limbo and on hold for a while?
I'm not certain. I'm sure. I mean, I can almost guarantee you GOA and FBC have already planned lawsuits for it, but they have to wait for it to go into effect for them to actually be able to do that. But I think it goes in effect at the end of June. Like, I think it goes into effect overnight, like July 1st or some crap like that. But the 80% thing, um, it specifically targets 80%. So no matter what happens there, you'll still be able to import like 70% lowers where you got to mill out the, you have to mill out the mag well and put some threads in the back instead of just milling out the lower. But yeah, anybody who wants to get those in Missouri before that happens, well, get them in Missouri.
Yeah, but we're
Same goes
go ahead.
Same goes for all those pistol braces too. If you want to get any number of pistol braces in the state, get them in the state.
These are regulations, though. This isn't anything that went through Congress. This is ATF stuff, isn't it?
It's ATF.
Okay, that's what I thought. Once again,
Yep.
here in Missouri, we don't have to worry about our local law enforcement enforcing any of that garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Currently anyway. By the way, the jury is still out. I checked earlier this week. Supreme Court has not said anything on SEPA, so they're still.
Told you it's going to drag it out as long as they could.
Yep, they're dragging
They
it
want
out.
to make sure no other bills in any other states go through.
The other thing too is no matter how many of those 80% and stuff you get in the state, of course they're probably going to look at the sales records and everything, and anything you get in the state before that ban date, they can't do anything about anyway because the sales record, it was sold on X date. And then if someone decides to start, I don't know, casting some fresh ones here, they're never going to know. Can't. There's no serial number.
Warrior Class said something. We're going to go back to the marijuana discussion here real quick. Warrior Class 3 said, I've read that cannabis oil will cure brain cancer. I got a story about that from someone that I know personally, and I'm just going to call him Cliff. Is a friend, an old friend of my wife's and mine. And he was diagnosed with brain cancer. He was having seizures, and they did an MRI, and they found a massive tumor in his brain. And they gave him 5 years to live. And I'm happy to report that was about 20 years ago. He's still fine. And they're thinking about taking him off of disability now because they do a scan on that once a year, and it's been shrinking. And he does do a lot of the devil's lettuce, a lot. And I don't know if it's well, yeah. I'm sorry. I just trying to throw off the algorithms. That's an algorithm thing. But I don't know what form he does it in. I don't know. It could be oil. He could be smoking. I don't know. I just know he does a lot of it. But at any rate, he was given 5 years to live. It's 20 years later. He's alive and kicking. He's doing fine. And go ahead.
Oh, my bad. I was gonna say, if anybody needs anything that's ever more effective than CBD, Rick Simpson's oil is a little bit more potent, and yeah, it actually has properties of shrinking cancers, tumors, stopping seizures. Like, people have literally took it and no longer had cancer. Like, it's amazing stuff. Buddy of mine, he goes to school for this stuff. He's actually goes to school to learn everything about cannabis, and he knows everything about the industry. He'd blow your mind.
Yeah, but fortunately, basically medical marijuana is now legal in the state of Missouri, but it's heavily taxed. It's quite expensive, and this bill that we're looking at right now would allow people to grow the plants in their own homes. Okay, guys, this is a really simple analogy, and I'm not trying to oversimplify, but the fact of the matter is, during the summer, I grow my own tomatoes. I do not go to the store and buy tomatoes at all for about a 6-month period every year because I do tomatoes. Why would I go to the store and buy tomatoes when I can, make my own tomatoes? The same thing goes with people who are sick that need it for pain, for anxiety, or anything else. They can make
For
it
people that
themselves.
just enjoy it in the evening.
Yeah, well, whatever. Whatever. So that's just, like I said, it's a gross oversimplification, but I think you guys get my point with that. We certainly don't need marijuana criminalized anymore in the state of Missouri. So I agree with that bill. I not, once again, I don't partake or whatever, but I agree with that bill. We have to decriminalize marijuana.
I got another story. My Aunt Pam, she was hooked to pharmaceuticals. She's no longer hooked to pharmaceuticals because of marijuana. Probably saved her life.
Yeah, Rhino76 has a follow-up question for Caleb. So you're saying buy them in Missouri or buy them anywhere online and have them in Missouri before it goes into effect. Also, I heard somewhere that they put in rush mode and it's supposed to go into effect at the end of April. Have you heard anything about that, Caleb?
I have not heard about that, but just if you're gonna get them, get your purchases in before. I guess if you're really concerned about that, get your purchases in before the end of April. You know, so that way the date. I mean, of course, people in Missouri can still, do shit and cast ones, and no one would ever know the difference because you wouldn't know if there is no serial number, so there's no way you'd be able to tell whether they're manufactured before or after that date, if they were cast and milled any before or after that date. If they're made in Missouri, it's just if you're gonna bring any in the state, get those before the ban goes into effect.
I think that's good
Get some
advice.
from another state, I guess is what I should say. There's also ways you can take different thicknesses of plate steel or aluminum, cut them out, tack weld them together, and you've got yourself a lower. So they can never truly stop you.
Okay, gotcha. And that was M. Gabriel, and Rhino. So I want to say hello to you guys as well. I don't think I actually said hello to you guys. So thank you for coming in. And we had Mad Mom Anon too is also with us. And let's see, Legal Mo 22. We are gathering signatures. Gathering signatures for what exactly? What is Legal Mo 22? Does anyone know?
That's the one that, that, like I said, Christina Thompson. That's the one. She's like, that's no good,
Okay.
because of the expungement issues and the requiring license. I don't think it removes it from. I don't think it takes the word drug out of the language. I think they're only going to expunge certain records. That's why they're pushing so hard on 2704, because that is all just done. Once if the bill is signed into law, the expungements go through. They don't have to file applications. They don't have to pay fees. You'll be released from jail. You won't have to have a license to grow your own. That's why they're pushing so hard for 2704, because they're making legal Mo 22 sound awesome, but according to Christina, it's nowhere near as good as we could do, because the medical monopolies pushing that one, and they 2704 is just leaps and bounds better as far as cannabis freedom in the state of Missouri.
Yep. Also, M. Gabriel's wondering if that also affects, let's see here, uppers and barrels, bolt carriers. I don't think it affects that. It primarily affects the lower itself. It specifically targets 80% lowers. Also, let's see here. Oh, and yeah, Rhino76 says can't stop the signal. No, you cannot stop the signal. 3D printer go burr.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, also one more announcement, gang. I forgot to mention this earlier in the broadcast. I know you guys are used to me making live phone calls on YouTube and everything, but I've definitely got a very clear signal from folks up in Jefferson City that it makes them a little bit nervous when I do that. So, and I did it for training purposes only, right? Quality control, right? but I think from their point of view, I think they kind of see it more as a possibility of gotcha politics, which is not what I was doing. I was literally showing you all, basically if you hadn't called a senator or rep before, how easy it can be and, what to say and that sort of thing when you're passionate about an issue. So, at any rate, I don't think I'll be making those live phone calls anymore unless I tell them at the very beginning of the phone call that we are live on YouTube, which is what I did during SEPA, if you guys remember. The unfortunate thing was, as soon as they found out we were live on YouTube, they didn't want to talk. So, at any rate, just so you know, I won't be doing that. Further notice, won't be doing that unless, basically I will announce, when I'm calling them that they are live on YouTube so that they know that. So, at any rate, I just thought I'd let you guys know.
Yeah.
Let's see, Warrior Class, I wonder if I've been hammering them too much with phone calls and emails since they are working on the budget. No, you still hammer them. You still keep going. I do. I don't stop because they're working on budget. I've continued phone calls this week. So, I mean, that's what I would recommend anyone. Basically, this is your power as a constituent, is your ability to email, call, and make visits to Jefferson City and tell your representation what you want them to do. That's what you do. And if they don't get back to you, you continue calling and emailing them. That's what you do. I don't know what else.
because
Go ahead.
even though they've been doing the budget, I mean, there's still bills they've been working on for perfection stuff. Like one is, let's see, HCS HJR 82-106, the right to hunt and fish. They've had that on the floor working on that. They've had other ones. I mean, so you think they can put HB 2118, right to self-defense and right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. To me, I think that would be just as important as the right to hunt and fish. You know what I'm saying? So when they sit there and say, "Well, we're working on budget or whatever,"
Yep.
I don't know. I've been calling them.
Yep. Keep calling them. So Warrior Class, if you have talked to your rep and you've covered everything that you need to cover, all the bills that you're passionate about, or if you're emailing them and they acknowledge the email, that they got the email, that fun stuff, then I'd probably relax a little bit on that particular rep. I call more than my rep. I call more than my senator. Everybody knows it. So I make multiple phone calls. Let's just say I make multiple phone calls. So that's what I do. And let's see. Okay. All right. Gotcha. All right. We've covered that then. So that's what I recommend, folks. I mean, we still keep making the phone calls. We still keep sending the emails, and we still have time left. Remember, it's right around the middle of May is when the legislative season's over. And there's a lot of stuff that I just don't think is going to make it to the floor. No, let me rephrase that. There is an enormous amount of bills that are just not going to get any floor time. This is, go time right now, because right now all these bills are competing for floor time. And what gets them further up in the priority list is the amount of phone calls and emails they get on specific bills. So you can help with that process. You can help get these bills, their floor time. If they don't get floor time, they die. It's that simple. So, Warrior Class says, I'll need to follow up on 2704. Yep. Okay. And Voodoo, Voodoo, you've done a lot of emailing. God bless you. Thank you. I think she's put all of us to shame.
Right there.
Yep. More specifically, she's really knocked it out of the park this year. And Voodoo, I'm going to ask you, what's your average for getting a response? Just a ballpark. I don't need you to start counting up responses and then doing division or anything. Just a ballpark. 10%, 20% response from emails. Latanya says, I'm harassing them tomorrow. Good deal. That's what politicians are for, is harassment.
We have one watch this, right?
Yeah, I know. But the guys, you know what I mean. And if you guys,
Remember, always bully and ridicule your local political parasite.
that's right. So they have no idea what you want until you email and call them. Trust me, they have no idea what you want. And they start going on, cruise control. 12% average on return emails. Okay, thank you, Voodoo. I was going to say I was getting about a 10% response on mine. So we're real close.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what is the self-defense enhancement again? It's 2118 actually, M. Gabriel. What that is,
Typo.
yep, what that is essentially is closing a loophole that we currently have with our stand your ground legislation. What it is they can still charge you and make you prove that you're innocent when it's a self-defense movement, even if it's just brandishing a firearm like the McCloskeys did. They clearly didn't pull any triggers. No one got shot, no one got hurt just by brandishing firearms. They were dragged into court to prove why they had probable cause to pull their firearms on their own property. So once this loophole is closed, this is a done issue for the state of Missouri. The McCloskeys should never have been charged. They should never have gone to court. And the reason being is because there were plenty of eyewitnesses and video footage showing that they were on their property, and so they were in compliance with the law. And the people did come onto their property, actually broke a fence or something like that, a gate to a fence, in order to gain access to the property.
Broke a rather large iron gate off of its hinges.
Yep. So what 2118 does is close that loophole. So if someone actually brandishes a firearm or shoots someone in self-defense, it's still up to the prosecution or the state to actually prove them guilty. You're innocent until proven guilty, just like you are with anything else. We're currently, right now, the loophole in Stand Your Ground makes, basically you're guilty if they want to prosecute, that is. You're guilty, and then you have to go to court and prove your innocence, which is really messed up.
Yeah, really, it's more than just like a gun bill. I mean, it's more like a constitutional rights bill, because everybody's supposed to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a shadow of doubt in court of law. The fact that this even exists, that you have to prove your innocence. And if you look at the statutes it replace, there's 3 statutes. I can't think of them on the top of my head, but the last one's pretty long. At the end of that, it actually said that, the defendant actually has to prove, I mean, I'm not quoting it, it's paraphrasing it, but it pretty much says the defendant has to prove their innocence. That's crazy. That ain't how it's supposed to work.
Yep.
Oh, just look at asset forfeiture. People already are doing that through asset forfeiture.
Yeah, that's got to change too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's something to look at for next year.
Usually, the asset forfeiture one is they try the property as if it is the one that committed the crime, and then they, because property doesn't get a lawyer, and then that they just take it regardless of if you get convicted or not.
Yeah, I agree. We need to get rid of asset forfeiture here in Missouri.
Yeah, asset forfeiture. That bill got slaughtered. We're still trying to do something about it. But yeah, that got mangled. That went through the wood chipper. Hey guys, I'm currently in the process of putting the relevant bills in the description section of the video for everyone. If you want to make phone calls on, these are the ones we're focusing on with the Missouri Freedom Initiative. There's a lot of good bills out there, but we can't support, 200 bills. It's just too much. You guys can keep it going. If you guys have something you want to say. If you guys have any questions or anything, throw them in the YouTube chat. Awkward silence. Okay, I'll stop doing this in a second here.
All right, I'm back.
Hey,
I'd like to point out that it's like pulling nails when it comes to the government actually relinquishing any hold on any of our liberties that they have.
yes, it is.
If you look at some of the things that they get through and how they get it through versus the things that get stalled out instantly, you
Mhm.
notice the BS gets through a lot faster.
Yep. Yeah, that's an interesting thing, Robert. We were talking about that, if you remember, last night. And it's very, very disturbing that these ballot initiatives have been sailing through both the House and the Senate as fast as they have, where the bills that actually, and by the way, that restricts the people's rights. But the bills that we have that would enhance people's rights are just a knockdown, drag out fight. And they take forever. Those of us who participated in SEPA saw that in real time. 8 years to get SEPA done. 8 years to literally just put on paper that we have these rights. It's insane. So, Robert, you're right.
Well, most of that was from police opposition, and then of course you have which it's interesting because even like Missouri Liberty Report was saying there, the weed one there. I mean, you'd think it would be moving faster because it doesn't have if it doesn't have a whole lot of law enforcement opposition. I don't know.
Yeah, because again, from what Christina and some of the others were saying at the rally, that the only opposition was from the big companies who have the the growers and the dispensaries. No
Mhm.
law enforcement showed up, absolutely none, to testify against it. That was literally it. So again, like you said, I don't understand what the problem is unless it's a money thing. Um, they can't let go of that little bit of power for the licensure and all that. There's no reason that shouldn't be moving along.
Mhm. Yep,
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
There's no reason to even have cannabis laws since when they were passed based off of propaganda and lies.
Mhm.
The
Mm-hmm.
laws we have are and have been enforcing, ruining people's lives, sometimes resulting in death, has been based off of propagandas and lies that are 100 years old. It's ridiculous.
Mhm. Yep, and update, guys. I just went ahead and updated the description section down below of this live video right now with all the bills. So if you guys, basically, and I should probably get you the roster again too, the House roster. I know we concentrated on the Senate before, but there's really not a whole lot we could do there at this point in time. We're waiting for a call back. But guys, remember, even if these ballot initiatives go through the Senate, and it's looking like a lot of them will, even if they go through, they still go on the ballot in November. So everyone can still say no to these initiatives. So, and then if it gets to that point, and it does go through, we'll educate everybody, and we'll get as many liberty-minded organizations in the state of Missouri to talk about these initiatives that are on the ballot. But unfortunately, you don't talk about them this early. What we found out is you talk about them about 2 weeks before voting, and then people will remember when they go to the ballot, say no to these ballot initiatives. But I will get you the roster and put that in the description section as well. There we go. And I'm sorry we don't have a whole lot of news. Like I said, just nothing's really been happening right now because of this redistricting and then budget.
Well, right now we have about what 40 bills that are on the House informal calendar.
Yep.
I've been checking them. It's what 1992, 2009, 2118, and was 1613 on there?
I don't know on the hang on one second, I can check. 1613 is not even on the informal House calendar yet. It's been passed out of committee, but it's not been put on any calendar, formal or informal, for perfection.
Actually, it is.
Oh, wow. The page I'm
It's
looking at.
I just what you do is go to the page that has all the house calendar and stuff, and then just press Control F, and then a little thing will come out, and you type in the bill number, and it'll show up on all these bills that are sitting there waiting informal calendar.
Okay, I'll show you guys what I've been looking at, which is right here. I'll do a refresh. This is the actual bill page, from the Missouri House of Representatives. This is not the schedule or the calendar. This is just the bill page. And then 3/31/2022 is the last entry, and that it went ahead and passed committee. That's the last thing we have on it here on this page. So thank you for that, Casey.
Yep.
All
Yeah,
right.
somebody showed me that little trick last week, and I was like, "Oh man, that's because I was trying to scroll through all those bills on that informal calendar, and I'd keep missing them."
Yep.
Somebody showed me how to do that. Well, it makes it a lot easier to find them.
Okay. All right. Does anyone have any questions in YouTube land? Any questions or basically regarding any of the legislation we're working on right now, what we're trying to get done? Let's see. Latanya King says, "Hey, Patrick, did Clever do well on getting conservatives on the school board?" The answer is, well, we got one, just one. And one of the same people was voted in the school board here again. So we might have a battle coming up. We're not sure yet. And that's all right. I'm up to the task. I can fight the school board again.
Nice.
So, yep. But go ahead, Casey.
I guess the question. Well, I'll let you finish that, and I'll bring my question up.
Yep, it has to do with school board members, and basically we were hoping to replace two bad ones with two good ones. One of the bad ones got back in, and then we did get one good one. So on the school board and where I live. So that's what she's referring to. The General Assembly will tell you these ballot initiatives are to stop outside influences, but we have a lot of inside state influences. That's absolutely correct, Ganai, and that's the thing. We have a real good possible solution for that, and we're waiting to hear back from a senator. So it's nothing we've submitted in writing. It was based on a phone call and an idea, and so hopefully by tomorrow I will have a call from a senator on this. So, yeah, that's important because, actually, we did do a rap session here in our Discord last night, and I was basically asking the group for help, and everyone had some ideas, and the ended up being the best idea Caleb came up with, and it's something that was marketable to a senator. Yep. So, so that's what we're doing. We came up, or Caleb came up with a good idea, and we're marketing it to the Senate right now to see if they'll bite. Because otherwise, we're just going to ask people to keep killing the bills. And I don't want him to take a long time getting back to me either, because those things are sailing through. They're getting top priority.
Yeah, it's amazing how fast, how they're finding time for those, but they can't find time for 2118, 1992. And, so he's like removing food tax, right to self-defense.
Yep.
You think it'd take more precedent over raising the thresholds on ballot initiatives.
Yep, agreed. You'd think.
I mean, I bet if you put it to a vote of the people, it would.
Yep.
Now, are they supposed to, in the House, are they supposed to finish that budget this week, or what do you know
that's
about
supposed
that?
to be done this week. They usually only take a week to do it. So, yeah, this happens to be this week. So, like I said, nothing's really gotten done. I have made some phone calls and sent emails this week and have talked to a few people up in Jeff City this week, not just leaving messages, but actually talking to them. So that has happened too, but nothing really to report on that stuff at this time.
I do believe the House passed the budget. It's like 46.1 billion or something like that.
Oh, did that happen today?
Yeah, I started reading an article from the Kansas City Star. It's 46.1 billion. We got like a 1.8 billion surplus, but the senators are, I'm sure they're salivating at spending it, which is one thing I wanted to bring up, that every time we get a surplus, our politicians spend up the last dime.
Yep. And
And
I heard
and
about
then they're
that.
always asking for more taxes.
Yeah, they're wanting to give it to the schools. That's what they're wanting to do. But I thought that was a holdup to not getting the budget done. They were debating that. But once again, it doesn't surprise me, guys. What that
Were-
means is
Were they just
go ahead.
were they just debating on putting it in their, just like pulling it all out and putting it in their pockets?
Pretty much. That's kind of what they do anyway, really, by giving their buddies contracts and things of that nature. I hate to assign that because I don't see a lot of that happening in Missouri. So I don't want people to get the impression that it's that bad here.
It most definitely happens at the federal level, though.
Yes, it does. Okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, gang. Unless you guys want to hear me play a little 12-string guitar, I'm thinking about wrapping it up. And I'm sorry, Sunday, actually, since we have a regular day tomorrow, up in Jeff City, because it sounds like their budget's done, we should have something to report on Sunday night when we do our next live stream. So let's see. They want more indoctrination and groomy money. That's right. Yeah, I did hear something, and I can't remember who I heard it from. I was on the phone with a lot of folks today. Someone told me that they were arguing over whether or not the surplus was going to go to the schools. I don't remember who told me that, though.
Yeah.
That's what I picked up on the article, that the senators want to raise teachers' pay, and that's what they're going to debate. So I thought I saw something in there along those lines as well. So.
Gotcha. Well, is the budget officially finished then, or do they have to figure out what they're doing with the surplus before they can officially close the book on the budget?
From what I understood, the House passed it, and then it's going to head to the Senate.
Okay. All right.
And then the Senate's waiting they're the ones that wants to divvy up the surplus to teacher salaries and certain stuff, which I think it's comical that they just got done spending all that time busting public schools' chops just to turn around and, now they want to throw money at the system, and rather than making it easier for parents to, homeschool and, letting the communities be more involved.
Yeah, apparently that's a sin,
Right.
Well, I know that Roden had a bill that he proposed, and it was, if you want to homeschool your kid, or choose a different way of educating your kid, and then they would make the school district reimburse, the school would pay for the kids homeschooling. And I'm thinking, everybody pays into that. And so if a family chooses to homeschool their kids using or doing an alternative message, you're making the school, which is all grouped together, everybody pays in, you're going to make them pay for your kids' schooling.
Yep.
I was like, no.
I don't even know how that works for a Republican to actually, propose something like that.
Is he a Republican, though?
Are we talking Shane Roden or Caleb Roden?
Caleb Roden.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
No, his species was just discovered a few years ago. They haven't classified him yet.
Right.
Under a rock somewhere.
Yeah. So we're not sure.
Well, that's just the unfortunate part, is like, what is he even doing on the ballot? What are these people even, why do they get 10 years? Why do they get 12, 14? That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a good question.
I would say he has Biden syndrome. He probably doesn't know where he's at. Probably doesn't know what he's doing. Somebody pulls his little string and goes, "Hey, you'll sound really smart if you write this bill." Like, I can't write the bill. I know people who can.
Yeah, that's right.
It
Don't
just
worry,
goes
Caleb.
on from there.
Don't worry, Caleb. We got your back.
Oh, God.
What you need to do is, if you're going to homeschool, I don't want no federal government. I don't want no state money, because whenever they're trying to give you money, it comes with stipulations.
Yep.
And you got to be careful about taking the money, because those stipulations pretty much enslave you. And I'd like to know when, look at when the COVID thing happened and the federal government dangled money over Parsons, and Parsons just gobbles it up. So, he did whatever he was told to keep those funds. So keep the money in your pocket, and you'll be more independent than anything you could possibly imagine.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, that's an interesting point, that you guys are making here right now, because there's never any consideration for the homeschoolers. And there should be, because people are paying an awful lot of property tax. So if your kids are not going to public school and you're choosing to homeschool, there should be some kind of tax reduction on your property tax for that. And that's not even a consideration when they have a surplus. They're looking. Go ahead.
Listen, Patrick. You know that taxes are the price we pay to live in a civilized society. So how dare you try to give people money back?
I
How
know,
are we
I
supposed
know.
to be civilized
I know.
if you're giving people their money back?
I know.
Oh,
And rebates and stamps and envelopes and all
Oh.
that stuff. Yeah, I realize. Guys, I'm just being horribly selfish. I apologize.
What about people who don't have kids at all? What do they
Right.
get for their taxes?
Hey, Craig, what's that?
Hey, what about people that don't have kids at all? What do they get for their taxes?
They still have to pay.
So
They-
here's an idea. Why don't people just pay for their own children's education?
Mhm. Yeah, you see, that's the way it used to be. Apparently, the socialization of public education is the way America went, and people didn't fight it. And now we're trying to get out of it, and we're finding how impossible it is to get out of it. This is why you have to prevent any new taxes, any new regulations from happening in the first place, because it's darn near impossible to get out of it again later.
they don't give it back.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Well, as we said before, 8 years to get SEPA done. 8 years to just get on paper the rights that we had in our founding documents.
Yeah.
And the DOJ is still kicking and screaming over it.
Yes,
And
they
they're
are.
still-
Oh, yeah, they're not done.
and they're
Oh,
still-
another update, gang. Thank you, Craig, for hitting my memory on this. You guys, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but the DOJ has already filed in the federal appeals court even before Missouri Supreme Court has made a decision. So they've already filed. So they're anticipating that their argument in the Missouri Supreme Court is not going to go well for them. And by the way, go ahead.
They know they're going to lose. The only question is, how long is the Missouri Supreme Court going to take before they reach a decision? Like I said, they're dragging this out because I know, like up in Iowa, where they had those SEPA bills with teeth. What one senator was telling me, who had one of those bills that he sponsored. He was telling me the problem with moving it through the Senate because they were all waiting for the court decision. And I think courts realize that, so they're dragging this thing because they want to kill all these other SEPA bills, the ones with teeth that are in Iowa, South Dakota, Wyoming, Pennsylvania, and other places. And it seems to be working pretty good. That with law enforcement stepping up in these other states, because I think a lot of these senators and representatives that were sponsoring these bills in other states, I don't think they realize just how entrenched the federal and state law enforcement is, and work with each other. And they didn't want those bills, because I know I talked to one of the senators in one of the states. I ain't gonna say who he is. So it was a private conversation, but he was like, "Yeah, but we don't have places like Kansas City and St. Louis, like you guys got Missouri. So I don't think we got the same problems with law enforcement like you guys do." And I'm telling you right now, you go in any state. In fact, like in Wyoming, I think every single sheriff came out against the SEPA bills with teeth. I'd have to check back on that. But, and you're talking about a place like Wyoming, way out west, in the middle of nowhere, ultra Republican. And their sheriffs have stopped that.
That's really the oh God. It's the ones he thought were the ones that were the problem were kind of the opposite of the case, because the ones there in Kansas City and St. Louis, they didn't try to stop it. They just they just flat out sat down because they thought they were going to take it to court.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Our problem's
It was,
actually came from the boot heel, or very rural place.
Yep.
Like I said, I don't think most of these senators and representatives of other states realize that every state, your federal and state, law enforcement work very close together. They're very entrenched together. And I think a lot of them just, they're probably wondering, wow, because like I said, South Dakota, that's how that SAPA bill got struck down.
Mhm.
You had a representative who used to be a police chief got up and, came out against it. And like everybody, all of a sudden, they just, voted against it and killed it off.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
then
it's-
and then their little piggies in blue think it's when they see someone trying to take their buddy away, they get all they start throwing a hissy fit and pouting a bit, and then politicians just feel bad for them, and yeah, fine. Yeah.
I mean, that's the same way here with 2118, man. I mean, you see how state law enforcement, prosecutors, and all that, and I don't even see what it's hurting them. I mean, they going through all this trouble because they just want to have they want to have the power. They'd rather the burden of proof be upon the defendant. They have all the power, they have all the legal help, they know the law better inside and out, but yet somehow they feel the burden of proof should be upon the defendant. If they don't actually come out and say that, but the fact they're trying to snuff this bill, I mean, it tells you they really don't care about your rights, man. It's just like,
Yep.
I mean, the burden of proof is supposed to be upon them. They got the entire power of state, and they're trying to say they can't do their job because the burden of proof would be on them instead of defendant. Are you serious?
Yep.
I mean, that right there should just ring everybody's alarm bells. But
I
but
think
then here
government.
again, then they're squelching this bill. I mean, like I said, Plocker, and he won't. I mean, the guy won't even call back and say,
Yeah.
"Hey, look, man, we're doing budget or something." I mean, he won't even call back and say, "Hey, here's the reason why we haven't put it on the floor yet" or anything. I mean, they're just really trying hard to kill it, and that's insane, man. You would think our elected representatives, people are supposed to represent us, swear an oath to the Constitution, would be totally for this bill and be pushing it. I mean, it's insane just the fact that you have to prove your own innocence. I don't even care what it's for, whether it's self-defense or jaywalking or anything. That's totally ass backwards. You would think they'd all be on board.
Yeah, it doesn't jive with the Constitution and jurisprudence,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It seems that at every turn, if you have the opportunity to make the government look as useless as they actually are, they will fight harder. Because when you realize, hey, we don't need you for self-defense, funding certain things. If people actually figured out they didn't need the government in certain situations, their whole game is up. It's just, people are, of course, because of the public fool systems, think, oh, government's providing me all these services and I live in a great socialist democracy. Like, no, but it's like if you can prove how useless government actually is, the game is up. You just got to get people to that point, get them to try things and say, yeah, see, you didn't need those idiots to begin with.
Here's a different strategy. What about just pushing for secession?
That's an extreme thing, and I'll give you an actual common sense reason why we can't do that here in Missouri. We're landlocked, so we need other states.
Got two great rivers, Missouri and Mississippi.
Yeah, we do have the Mississippi, but it's not enough.
Yeah, you have to get like a
ports.
Texas and a Mississippi, and
So, but at the same time,
I believe there is talk on that though.
There has been.
I think, yeah, Texas and Kansas,
Tennessee,
Nebraska, Missouri.
Tennessee was talking about it a while back.
Like 7 or 8 states all joining together, and can you imagine how crazy that would be? You'd pretty much take the central part of the U.S. and then you got the east and west coast split, and then you got this big section of country right down the middle that says, they just kind of give the government the one finger salute and go, "We're out. Peace out, Girl Scouts. We'll talk to you later."
The Peace out, Girl Scouts. And don't send any more cookies.
That's right. It's probably like the Prohibition alcohol is probably poisoned. We don't want any of that.
Because listen, we can't
Well,
share a
here's
country
here's
with
the
these
problem.
people. They're never gonna let us be. I mean,
Here's the whole thing about if we did that. You do realize we'd wind up probably something like Syria, mainly because the U.S. government will go into our states and that would be severed from the rest of them and try to put a central bank in every one of them.
yeah,
Oh yeah, no doubt.
bring it. It doesn't end any other way. I mean, you're not gonna fix this thing.
When the center of the country, literally the states of the country separate, giving the one finger salute to the federal government, um, they're going to have a problem because we're the armed population.
Yeah.
I'd like to
I mean-
extend a hello to Travis, who joined us in the YouTube chat, and I didn't notice that till now. Hey there, buddy. And Warrior Class is there. Latanya, yeah, still the same folks, except Travis is the new one that showed up. Hello, Travis. We were just talking about you earlier, buddy. Okay, go ahead, guys. I'm sorry for interrupting.
I don't know. I forgot what the hell I was going to say. Middle-aged brain sucks.
Yep.
You
Well,
have to write everything down, or
it's
disappears down the memory hole.
our goal, basically is to have as little government as possible, as low taxes as possible, and a lot of people unfortunately find that offensive. But I think a lot of people actually that resonates with them. Now, the people who find it offensive are, basically the people we have to convince somehow, or as Craig said, maybe we just can't get along with those folks anymore. I'd like to think there's a way to get along with them. I'd like to think there's a way.
Nope, it's gotten to the point where we literally just can't share a country anymore. You have to break up. That's it. It's a divorce.
It's a divorce.
Yeah. It's a breaking up of the very thing the states created.
The guys, if Putin came across our southern border, do you think that we'd get some kind of fencing or something, or some kind of, wrought iron gate or something across the southern border? I mean,
did you
Not
see
with
that?
Biden, no.
Oh yeah, that's what had me thinking of recession. Actually, was the immigration issue. I saw the governor of Texas. What's his name? Albert, or what's his name?
Abbott.
Abbott. Yeah.
Governor Abbott.
He he's gonna ship the immigrants to DC on buses and shit. Did you see that?
no, I didn't.
Yeah,
Well,
he's gonna ship the
Technically, I was going to say technically, constitutional perspective, immigration is supposed to be up to the states anyway, so it is his duty to do whatever it needs to at the southern border since he's on it.
This is what I'm saying, is that it's the federal government dictating Texas's border policy, and it's their border.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is why we can't share federal government.
Yeah, you remember now, the Minutemen did show up. Local militia did show up to guard the southern border, and the federal government sent in troops to make them go home. You guys remember that?
Yep.
I don't know that it was
Well,
Texas. I think it
when-
was Arizona.
At that point, the people that were there shouldn't have chickened out and just went ahead and stayed there, and then returned fire if they shot at them.
Voodoo Queen has a good point. The middle of the country has the most of the military. Most of the military bases that's correct, are landlocked. They're inside the country. That's correct.
You'd have a hard
Oddly
time
enough, even there's a frickin' naval base in Idaho. Did you guys know that?
Yeah.
How does that happen? I mean, they can't get a ship there.
Yeah, they can. There's a river
I'm
that's wide
teasing.
enough to get there.
I thought I was going to make a joke out of it, Caleb. You wrecked it, Caleb. Sorry, man.
Accordion Lake, I think that's the lake, or either that or there's another one up there. It's over 1,200 feet deep, so they use it to,
Yep.
For submarines.
Yep. I knew
Do
about that.
exercise and stuff, test them out.
Yep.
I figured it'd be for shipping potatoes, but
Yeah,
whatever.
it's
What the hell do
that's
I
what
know?
they do with it a lot too. You got to get potatoes out of Idaho somehow. All right, gang. Well, I'll tell you what. Do you guys have anything else?
It's
Um,
just kind of been a slow week. No
Yes,
one
it has.
calls back,
Yep,
mm,
we're not getting
especially
calls.
Blocker.
Yeah. Let's see. KC. Let me think now. I've got 6 calls into Plocker's office now, and actually 1 email. I've not heard anything back from Dean Plocker. Nothing.
Well, I told you that when I would call, I'd talk to his LA Diana. I did that Monday, and then on Tuesday I called, and they had a new guy there. I guess his name was Igor.
Yeah.
I could barely understand what he was saying. I'm like, man, is he like a Ukrainian refugee? What's the deal, man? But it was kind of funny. I guess they got so many calls or something. I don't know. Maybe she was getting stressed and they brought a new guy
I
in.
don't know. I think it's kind of funny. It seems like that maybe Dean Plocker is outsourcing his office help now.
Yeah. I got him on the phone. I swear to God, when I first heard him, I thought, man, I think maybe I dialed a gas station by accident.
Gas
Hung up
station.
and tried again, and he was on there, and I called, and I said, oh, this is his office. He got a new guy in there.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe he's been around for a while, but I've never all the time. It's always been the lady. So that was the first time I got him on there. I don't know if he's new or what, but yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah, I'm getting everybody on there now except for Dean. Come on, Dean, just call me back. Tell me what's up with 2118. That's all I want to know.
Yep.
Come on, it's not that hard.
I'd love to have a conversation with Plocker. Guess what? When we go up there for the 26th, we need to have a conversation with Plocker in his office.
mhm.
So,
Well, you know what? Hopefully that bill's through by then, because if it's still sitting on a calendar by the 26th, I don't think we're gonna have much time to.
there'll still
know
be
what I'm
time.
saying?
We got SEPA
Well, there-
through in the last 2 weeks. So it's
Through the
possible.
Senate. I thought. No, man, it was it got through the House. It was one of the first bills last year. SEPA was one of the first bills out of the House and into the Senate.
Yep.
That's when Huff sat on it.
Yep.
What I'm saying is, this is in the House and hasn't been through the Senate yet.
Ah.
So if it's still in there April 26th, man, we'd really have to, I don't know, somehow convince Schatz to just push that thing through like it's a tax or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like it was tax.
You treat it like the gas tax and just push that baby right on
Yeah.
through.
Call it, yes. Say, come on, Schatz. Pretend that thing's a gas tax, buddy. You can do it. You can get through there.
Oh, yeah. Schatz will do it. Yep.
Oh my
Just
God.
Ask him if he supports HB 2118, the new gas tax.
Yeah, the new gas tax. Oh, yeah, of course I do. Yeah, of course. 2118 is like the best bill ever.
Senator Schatz, it just got to the Senate. You think you can get it through? Gas tax, no problem.
Yet we're making a dangerous assumption that he can't read, though.
Or tell him it's some kind of bill that allows for
Isn't
laying
that
cables
dangerous,
along
though?
highways.
Yeah.
They're gonna put multi-billions of dollars into it.
Yeah,
We'll be all over that one.
For those of you who don't get the reference, the gas tax most likely will benefit Schatz's private business. So that's what we're referring to. So he got a gas tax through in Missouri. He got it low enough that it actually got underneath the Hancock Amendment. In other words, it didn't have to go to the voters. And so at any rate, but it looks like it may benefit his private business, Schatz Underground. So that's what we're...
Surely not.
Yeah.
Come on now. Come on.
That sounds
I
like
find that just a little hard to believe.
Yep.
it sounds like an outhouse business.
Yeah,
Like
it
you
does,
dig a hole
doesn't
and you
it?
shat in it.
Oh God.
Yep, it does. I'll tell you what, gang. I'll go ahead and start working on closing it up. And if you want, like I said, actually, it was only one person said yes, but if you want, I'll do a little 12-string for you. And it'll be the SEPA theme song, Wild Thing. So, yeah, I probably shouldn't, but gosh darn it, it'll do something a little different. Since our good friends in the Senate and the House kind of took some time off and everything, So yeah, I got to practice a little bit. So here we go.
Everybody start headbanging.
All right, here we go. SEPA's theme
Off the
song.
horns.
Yeah, it's cutting out. I think is your noise cancellation on?
Okay, gotcha. All right, well, you got a little bit of it though. Okay, that's it. So yeah, it's not the musical show that it was before we started. By the way, if you guys want to come into Discord, you're always welcome to do so. Everyone in Missouri is welcome, and people even outside of Missouri that are interested in what we're doing. If you look in the description section down below, we have all of our socials, including Discord. That's where we're having our live stream out of, and we have meetings in here too. You guys are always welcome. No problem. You guys come in. We'd love to meet you. And if you guys want to come in and talk to us when we close it up today, you guys are, a warrior class is getting his Les Paul out. Yep. So maybe at Travis's expo, we should probably get our musical buddies together and do a song or two up there. That'd be fun.
Yeah, hopefully we won't get bricks and bottles. From
Yeah, bricks and bottles. Yeah, that would be bad.
Tomatoes.
Yeah, tomatoes. That's right. There's peppers. Hey, we could get free vegetables there.
Yeah, just get those tomatoes, make them fresh. Okay,
Yeah.
that's all I ask.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all be holding up a bag or something, catching them.
Yep. Okay. All right. Well, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if I think it would be awesome.
Oh, Travis
if you
says
played-
yes. Travis.
Travis is wanting us to jam out. Sounds like a plan.
Which one is this?
You sure you didn't mean yes, we're going to throw tomatoes at you?
Let's see. We want tomatoes, fresh carrots. I like carrots, man.
Travis, jump.
They hurt a little more.
Throw some tomatoes, some ground beef, and some beans. We'll just have a big old chili cook-off or something.
Yeah. So,
Travis. I was gonna say, Travis, jump in our Discord afterwards.
Yeah.
If you can, if you got the time, jump in the Discord after.
Yep, we were talking about your expo earlier in the broadcast. By the way, we're going. And I'm sorry, we interrupted John with the Liberty Report. Go ahead, John.
Oh, it's cool. All I wanted to say was I would love to see you acoustically play death metal just to throw everybody off kilter. Like, here's a little song.
Yep.
This one's called "Raise Your Horns" from Amon Amarth, and they'll be like, "What's that?" Now you have to do the scream, but if you play with an acoustic guitar, I think that would be ultra awesome.
Do you one better?
People wouldn't know what the hell to do.
I just had the opening to "Highway to Hell" run through my head.
Yep. I'll tell you what. We'll do that with a classical nylon string acoustic guitar.
There you go. That'd be even better.
Triple T Tony says, "Don't waste food. We might need it." So only bricks and bottles.
Yep.
Oh, hey, look what Travis just put in.
Hey, there we go. Travis apparently got Gun Owners of America director will be speaking at the expo. So if you guys want to meet the GOA director, looks like you'll get a chance to meet and speak and greet. And that would be literally 26th and 27th in Texas County, Missouri. So guys, please, we're there. The organization's going to be there. We're setting up tables, probably do a little bit of speaking. And it'd be a real honor to meet the GOA director for me personally. By the way, I want to remind everyone, the GOA did support SEPA in Missouri. The NRA did not, just as a reminder for those of you who didn't know.
That's consistent.
That's not all the NRA did. They, yeah, ugh.
Yep.
And I was gonna say, that they are the